Hey everyone, this is Miss Asmo. Thanks for watching my video on comparing and ordering fractions, decimals, and percents. Let's take a look at this example. About 35% of people who come to the park bring a dog, and 2/5 of people who come to the park exercise. Which group of people represents a larger percent of the people coming to the park? When we use fractions in word problems, it's kind of hard to read, but this 2/5, it's saying that 2 out of every 5 people who come to the park are going to be exercising. So it's asking us which group of people represents a larger percent of the people coming to the park. So we need to make sure that we're comparing apples to apples, or we're comparing using the same form. So right now I have 35%, and I want to compare it to 2/5. The easiest way to do this, in my opinion, would be to compare percent to percent, or comparing a decimal to a decimal. So if I wanted to change 2/5 as a percent, as review, we know that a percent is a comparison out of 100, part to whole. So I want to look at 2/5 as an equivalent fraction out of 100 instead of out of 5. So what do we do to 5 to get 100? Well, we multiply by 20. What do we do to 2? We need to do the same thing, multiply by 20, and we get 40 out of 100. 40 out of 100 converted to a percent is 40%. So what this is saying is that 35% of people who come to the park bring a dog, and 40% of people who come to the park exercise. So which group of people represents a larger percent of the people coming to the park? Well, if we're going to answer this, I'm going to say that 2/5, or excuse me, people who exercise is the larger group. All right, and that is just comparing percent to percent. Let's take a look at another example here. In a survey of favorite ice cream, mint chocolate chip received 22% of the votes. By the way, mint chocolate chip is my favorite. So 22% of the votes. Chocolate ice cream received 1/4 of the votes, which means 1 out of every 4 people picked chocolate. And vanilla received 37 hundredths of the votes. Okay, so order the flavors from most to least popular. So we have 22%, which makes sense, okay? And then when we look at the fraction, 1 out of every 4 people like chocolate, okay? And then we have this decimal number, which when we read this as a word problem, it doesn't really, doesn't sound right, okay? So our option here, we need to make sure that we're comparing all of these in the same form. As I'm looking at this, I'm going to compare these all as percents, or you can even compare them all as decimal numbers. Okay, so 22%, we don't need to change it, that stays the same. 1/4, hopefully you've memorized 1/4 is 25%, because if I have 1/4, that is worth 25 cents. And when we think about money, we're always comparing it to a dollar, which is out of 100. But if you didn't remember that, we can compare this out of 100. 4 times what is 100? Well, 4 times 25 is 100. So 1 times 25 gives me 25. 25 hundredths is equivalent to 25%. Okay, so 22% like mint chocolate chip, 25% like chocolate, and if I'm going to convert a decimal to a percent, we've learned that we just move the decimal place 2 places to the right, 37%. Okay, so we need to order the flavors from most to least popular. So looking at these 3%, which one is the most popular? Well, this represents vanilla. So vanilla is the most popular. And then second in line comes my chocolate. That's chocolate. And then last is my mint chocolate chip. That would be part of that group. Okay, so if we number these, that's great, but we also need to write it out. Okay, so most popular, vanilla is most popular, and then second comes chocolate, and then last we have mint. Ooh, mint chocolate chip. So, interesting. There we go. So to review, when we're going to order fractions from least to greatest or greatest to least, we need to make sure we are comparing these things. If you want to use a different method, you're more than welcome to do that. But looking at this, I would decide that percent would be the way to go, or decimals. Okay, we very rarely convert everything to a fraction. And thanks for watching my video.